Listen closely. The information I'm about to share will either transform you into the most formidable presence in any room, or you can simply click away and remain a target for those who learned their cheap manipulation tricks from social media tutorials. What truly separates an apex predator, like a lion, from a common house cat? It isn't the claws, and it isn't their speed. It's the fact that a lion doesn't need to roar to make its prey nervous. Gazelles can sense the danger from meters away. Meanwhile, we have grown adults posting 17-part stories on Instagram to announce a social media break, only to return after exactly 48 hours. Here's a truth that might sting. Every time you feel that burning need to prove how intelligent you are broadcasting to the world that you are not. You might as well hang a flashing sign around your neck that reads, "Please validate my fragile existence." The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche introduced a mind-altering concept known as eternal recurrence. He asks us to imagine living the exact same life, with all its moments, over and over for eternity. Take a second to picture what that would mean. But here is the harsh reality. Most people are already living this way. They are caught in a perpetual cycle of saying things they don't mean, desperately seeking approval, and being mentally dismantled by anyone with even a fraction of a brain cell. What if I told you that every conversation, every meeting, and every awkward social function is just the same power dynamic playing out repeatedly? The same roles, the same predictable actions, and the same unsatisfying results, with no genuine change. The real question is, are you the chess master, or are you just a pawn, completely unaware that you are even on the board? Friedrich Nietzsche also believed that most people are enslaved by their own weaknesses. This leads us to an idea that will completely reshape how you view every human interaction for the rest of your life. But before we get to that, subscribe if you are ready to become your own master. Or don't, and simply prove Nietzsche's point. In essence, Nietzsche divided humanity into two groups, slaves and masters. Which one are you? I'm not referring to the physical cruelty of whips and chains, but to the psychological kind. We are talking about mental slavery. This is when you feel you need permission from everyone else just to exist. You find yourself apologizing for taking up space, repeating, "Oh, Business casual." Picture this corporate meeting scenario for a moment. The image alone might make your blood boil with familiarity. Everyone is packed into a conference room, and a certain manager from accounting begins her weekly one-woman show titled, "Look How Important I Am." She talks endlessly, tossing around buzzwords like synergy and ideation as if they were magic spells. All the while, John from the IT department sits there, silent. As the meeting ends, the CEO pulls him aside for a private conversation. Why? Because while the manager was spewing verbal noise, John was observing everyone's body language, taking detailed mental notes. He positioned himself as the calm, stable center while chaos swirled around him. Speaking of creating your own gravitational pull, let's discuss becoming something that transcends ordinary human desperation, Nietzsche's Übermensch. The Übermensch is not some strange fantasy. It is Nietzsche's vision for a human who has moved beyond the herd mentality. These are individuals who have completely shed their need for outside validation and operate from a place of pure internal power. A central idea from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche is that man is something that shall be overcome. That something is you, but only if you are willing to conquer your weaker self. If you want to become an Übermensch, stop reacting to other people's energy. Start being the energy that others react to. This involves weaponizing your silence, using it like a psychological scalpel to cut through social pretense. Before you respond to anything, and I mean anything, count to 3. Not a rushed count, but a full, deliberate 3-second pause that feels like you are downloading data from the cosmos while everyone else is buffering on a dial-up connection from 2005. This pause has a devastating psychological effect. It leads people to believe you know something they don't. And here's the secret: you do. You know they are desperate for your approval, and you are simply deciding whether or not they are worthy of it. But silence without presence is just awkwardness in a philosopher's disguise. So, let me show you how to transform your body into a weapon of mass psychological influence. The next time you are in a meeting where everyone is scrambling to outsmart one another, try this instead. Lean back slightly. Moment where people are addicted to the tiniest breadcrumbs of attention like digital junkies. Someone ghosts you for 3 days, then reappears in your direct messages with a casual, "Hey there, stranger," as if they're auditioning for the lead role in your life's drama. Here is your Übermensch response. Read the message. Do not reply. Go lift weights. Learn a new skill. Build your empire. Let them steep in that silence while you become more interesting by the hour. You are not playing games. You are not being cruel. You are simply refusing to participate in their emotional chaos. You are not ignoring them to manipulate. You are prioritizing your own growth over their inconsistency. That is master morality in action. The same principle applies when someone tries to bait you into an online argument, those digital battlegrounds where IQ points go to die. Instead of typing out paragraph after paragraph to defend your stance, try this. State your point once, then disappear. Let them argue with the void while you are out building something meaningful in the real world. Now, let me show you how to turn Nietzsche's most brutal concept into a personal, life optimization system. Here is how to use eternal recurrence as the decision-making weapon. Before you speak, ask yourself, if I had to repeat this exact conversation for eternity, would I still say this? It's a radical question, but it makes perfect sense. Most of the time, the answer will be an absolute no. That's because most of what we say is mental clutter, filler words, approval-seeking statements, and emotional reactions that make us seem controlled by our feelings rather than the other way around. Imagine this. What if you were told that everything you do today, you must do in the exact same way tomorrow, and the next day, and forever? Would you still speak those words? Probably not. This mental filter eliminates about 90% of the verbal noise that most people mistake for conversation. You begin to speak only when your words carry the weight of eternity. And that weight, everyone in the room will feel it. They will hang on your every word, but words are only the surface. Your entire physical presence must communicate that you have transcended the herd's need for constant validation. They are the ones who need yours. Your body language must tell a story, and that story should be them more than they can handle. When you leave a room, you should leave behind the energy of a predator that has just marked its territory. Not aggressive, not rude, just utterly certain of its place in the food chain. Think of yourself as a philosophical time bomb. You don't explode, you just exist, ticking quietly while everyone else wonders when, or if, you will go off. That uncertainty keeps them orbiting your energy, trying to figure you out. Nietzsche said, "What does not kill me makes me stronger." But I'm offering you something better. What does not get a reaction from you makes you more powerful. You came here expecting to learn a few social tricks. Instead, you received a philosophy lesson that will set you apart from the 99% of the population still playing checkers while you are playing 4D chess with their psychology. Most people will never grasp this level of mental discipline. They will continue to talk too much, seek too much approval, and wonder why they feel so powerless in their own lives. They will never know why. But you are about to become the person others cannot figure out, the one who makes people uncomfortable in the best possible way, the living embodiment of the fact that true power never needs to announce itself. It just is. So here is your assignment. For the next 48 hours, speak 50% less than you normally would. Then, watch what happens. Watch how people lean in when you finally do speak. Watch how your silence creates more intrigue than your words ever could. Remember, in a world full of people desperate to be heard, the one who does not need to speak becomes the most interesting voice in the room. Now, go and practice being magnificently, powerfully, and dangerously quiet. You won't understand its power until you do. But before that, hit the like button and subscribe. And remember, the louder the world becomes, the more power there is in your silence.